Welcome to the fastest growing show on the Five Region Sports Network. Welcome to the good, the bad, and the ugly. I'm your host, Jonathan, aka Three Piece Combo, and today we're going to be getting into the good, the bad, and the ugly with last night's game versus the Oklahoma City Thunder. Now, as always, if there's something I didn't see in this game that I talked about that you guys maybe see, go ahead and leave them in the comments and we'll bring you up in the next video. So, before we take a look at the game against the Oklahoma City Thunder, we're going to take one last look back at the game against the Los Angeles Lakers and what you guys saw that I didn't particularly see. So we're going to start with Young Assassin. I appreciate you, first of all, commenting, checking out our UFC stuff. Starting with Kendrick Nunn saying that he's a 3-level scorer. I agree. I love what I'm seeing from Kendrick. He has the 3-point shot has been on fire. Like I said, 44% over the last 2 weeks. He's been shooting really, really good from deep. He has his confidence back. His arc doesn't look flat anymore. He has a little mid-range pull-up. He has a little floater from the free throw line, as well as he's a great finisher around the rim. So I'm liking what I see from Kendrick Nunn. Also, another good, Derek Lewis and the Heat won in the same night. Of course, if you guys don't know, UFC, the Black Beast Derek Lewis got a knockout win over Curtis Blades. If you guys like UFC stuff, if you like seeing Jimmy get into scraps with PJ Tucker, why not go check out our UFC stuff on Fight Week on 5. That'll be Wednesday at 6. The bad, Duncan is struggling, which we did see against that Lakers game. We saw a little bit of improvement against the Oklahoma City Thunder, so I liked what I saw from that. The ugly, we do need a 4. I do agree that we need a 4 or just somebody overall that can play next to Bam, whether that's Boogie Cousins, Andre Drummond, Bjelica, somebody. It's going to be interesting to see who the Heat target in this trade and buyout market. Now, getting into Ayan Ali, the good team win. The bad crunch games turning into Jimmy 5 versus 1. That's true. When it comes down to crunch time, it's really just Jimmy taking it to the rim, trying to draw fouls, doing a lot of what he can do. So I do agree that Jimmy needs a little bit of help, especially when it comes to crunch time. Now, getting onto Yaniv's comment, getting into his bad, because the good was pretty much the same. The bad with Jimmy Butler's mid-range shot, that was a really interesting point you made, and I definitely wholeheartedly agree with you. I think he needs to start taking those jump shots with a little more confidence. I want to see him at least try to shoot it a little bit more, because teams know that he's not going to shoot the 3 at all at this point, and if they're not respecting him from the 3, it's just going to make it a little bit harder. Teams are going to pack the paint a little bit more. I want to see a little bit more of that mid-range shot. Just kind of like what D-Wade used to do. He wasn't really a prolific 3-point scorer, but he was a monster in the mid-range game. And I feel like Jimmy can go ahead and really do that as well. Getting into, let's see right here. We got Stangling, the good, we won. Haven't made a trade yet as far as the bad. I do agree. I feel like a trade needs to be coming. A little bit of shakeup for this team would be really, really good. And the ugly, as far as the front office goes, I'm not losing hope in the front office just yet. I mean, we've had phenomenal draft pickups. We were able to flip players from nobodies into somebody. Hassan Whiteside, Tyler Johnson, Ronnie McGruder, everybody. We're flipping into somebody. So I have confidence in that, in our front office for now still. Getting into Arlene VP, I did like the first quarter offense as well. Bad Duncan, not hitting threes that game. I agree with you. The ugly, the block by Bam, that was definitely the best play of the game in my opinion as well. Getting into Steven Gabby Perez, I do agree that we don't have an identity as much as we used to. So I feel like we want to make that defensive identity. We're starting to pick it up a little bit more since Jimmy's come back. We've been a little bit better of a defensive team, but I feel like we do need a little bit of an improvement. We do need to figure out what we're going to be as a Miami Heat team this year. What are we really going to be? So I appreciate you commenting. Getting on to Junior, I do agree Nunn is more playable. Tyler Hero being questionable, and the ugly almost losing to an Alex Caruso game winner. Man, if Alex Caruso hit that game winner, I would have quit. I would have quit 5 reasons. I would stop watching Heat basketball. So so I'm glad he didn't hit that game winner. Like I said, I want to thank you guys all for commenting. If there's something that I missed during this segment for the Oklahoma City Thunder, go ahead and leave it in the comment, and then I'll go ahead and have you up on the screen for next game. Like I said, appreciate you guys checking that out for the Lakers game. Let's go ahead and get into the good for this Oklahoma City Thunder game. All right, so getting to some of the good of this game, I mean, there was a lot that you can take away as far as positive goes. It helped stack up the wins on the team. We're tied for the biggest win streak that we've had as far as the season goes. We got 3. We got 3. So making and climbing up the standings, that's really good. We got a win over a team that we're supposed to win over. So it was good to see that we picked up that win. So starting with the good, I want to start again with Kendrick Nunn. We started with Kendrick Nunn last game because he played really well, and he did it again this game. He was phenomenal as far as scoring, but he was even better when it came to his passing. 9 assists, 0 turnovers, a couple of hockey assists too. There was a couple times where he in that first quarter he flipped it to Jimmy Cutting and Jimmy flipped it to Bam, and that was an easy Bam dunk. Later in the fourth quarter, I think he fed it to Bam in the post, and Bam ended up drawing 2 fouls, which ended up drawing a foul, which ended up getting 2 free throws, which is pretty much like getting assists. I think they need to change the stats on that. Then if a pass turns into a foul and that foul turns into 2 free throws, that should be an assist. That's just my opinion. But I loved what I saw from him in the passing game. He threw phenomenal lobs to Bam all game long. He connected with him on 3 different occasions. He's starting to fit the starting unit perfectly. And we're starting to see when Bam and Jimmy goes out, Kendrick Nunn is the guy that's running the show. Things might change when Hero come back, but I like what I see for Kendrick Nunn. Give him his flowers. We're throwing him in trade machines like Gad was saying. But whilst he's here, let's appreciate him. He's a guy that was undrafted. Nobody picked him up, got cut from the G League team. Miami Heat swiped him up, and he's the reason that we're winning these last couple games. So thank you, Kendrick Nunn. Second part of yesterday's game, I want to talk about Duncan Robinson. We've been harping on him for a little bit as far as his shooting goes. He looks to got his stroke back last night. Now, we want to see that over a sample size over a couple games, but his stroke looked good last night. He looked like he had good chemistry with Bam. He was hitting shots that he wasn't hitting previously, and that dribble handoff just looks money. He's starting to feel like, he's starting to have more confidence in that shot again, and he's starting to hit. We ended up with a team high 22 points, 6 of 13 from 3-point land, 7 rebounds as well. And, a little bit of a little extra bonus there we got from Dunk was those 7 rebounds. And he's starting to use the back cut as a more lethal weapon too. Since teams want to play him so much on the 3-point line, I like the way he's back cutting and getting to the rim, finishing around the rim. Probably one of the best finishers, low key, just super underrated. Now, another good thing, that team as a whole in that second half, maybe not the beginning of the third quarter, but second half, I really like what we did offensively. We ended up scoring, I think, 29 in the fourth quarter. And, 29 in the fourth quarter, 34 in the third. And we were just giving it to them offensively. Now, Oklahoma City isn't a great offensive team, so for us to outscore them by that much doesn't really surprise me too much. But they're the 7th best defensive team. So I liked what we did against a team that was really scrappy defensively. They're really quick, they're young, they're athletic, and we're able to carve them up. We're able to get good looks and create good shots. So, Bam, good game. Jimmy, good game overall. But those are the main takeaways as far as a lot that we can use moving into our next game against the Toronto Raptors. Hopefully we can keep that flow going as well. Now, a couple of bad things from this game, so let's go ahead and get into the bad. So, starting with the bad, the first thing I want to talk about is how we allowed Shai Gilgeous-Alexander to just carve us up. I think we gave up 20-something points in the paint in the first half, and it wasn't pretty. We were just giving up everything in the rim. The rim defense and the paint protection is a problem for this team. When other teams get into the painted area, it's too easy for them. Bam's usually out on the perimeter, switching onto somebody else. So I really want to see us, like you guys were saying in the comments, pick up a big that can just help around the rim, somebody that can be a little more reliable, maybe not a Kelly Olynyk, somebody that can help around the rim and stop the opposing team from actually getting such easy shots around that rim. We allowed them to also build a 9-point lead in the first half. They were missing George Hill and they were missing Al Horford, which are two of their, behind SGA, they're better scorers. We can't be letting teams that rank 28th offensively to go ahead and take a lead on us. I don't care who you are. This game should have been a wire-to-wire win. This game should have been an easier game than the Lakers game, but at the beginning, it really wasn't. We really lost a lot of it. It looks like we were probably trending to another bad loss like we did against the Charlotte Hornets, the Clippers, and stuff like that. But I liked how we ended up picking it up. But still, need to make sure when we have these teams that are depleted, we need to finish them early and get the guys our rest like we can. Last part about yesterday's game, that's bad. Like I said, not too much bad from this game. It was actually pretty good overall. 8 turnovers in the third quarter. Now, if we do that against a team that's really not great offensively, that's not a big deal. But if we do that against a team like the Toronto Raptors or the Utah Jazz, or God forbid somebody like Trae Young and the Atlanta Hawks, those are going to turn into a lot of points. And we saw yesterday they had 27 points off turnovers, and that was just more opportunities that were given to them to outscore us. So we need to keep a handle on the ball. I don't like having 8 turnovers in a quarter. You're going to have a couple, you're going to have 3 or 4, but you can't have more than that. If we keep turning over the ball like we do, it was a problem at the beginning of the year, starting to creep back up on us again. We need to make sure that we keep those turnovers down, make sure the opposing team doesn't get out on us and break our backs offensively. So that's all for the bad. Like I said, pretty good game overall. But let's get into the ugly, because there was one ugly part that was really ugly. But it's a good ugly, so let's get into it. So, going into that fourth quarter, it was a pretty close game. We ended up building a little bit of a lead after going down 9 and having a deficit going into halftime. But the ugly 15-0 run to start the fourth quarter. That's how you put the nail in the coffin. That's how you finish off a garbage team. That's how we're supposed to do it, and that's what we did. It was Duncan. I think Dunk had 12 or 13 points in the fourth quarter. Dunk went off in the fourth quarter. He had 3 threes and like a 2-pointer, so probably 11 points in the fourth. But man, putting the nail in the coffin and finishing that team like we're supposed to, that's what this Heat team needs to do against bad teams. That's how we're supposed to dispatch these trash teams that we're playing. So what I want to see is more of that. More strong fourth quarters. Ended up with 29 points in the fourth quarter, so it was good scoring offensively. We broke 100 points. And if we continue to do that and we continue to go on runs, we're going to be able to be a formidable threat in the East and be able to at least make it in the top 6. And then once we get in the playoffs, I trust this team to win. I trust this team to win at least a series or 2, get into the Eastern Conference Finals. So it's going to be interesting to see if this is something we can carry over to the next game. I want to thank you guys for checking out the good, the bad, and the ugly. As always, of course, leave your comments down below. If there's something I missed that I didn't see that you guys saw, leave your good and bad, the ugly down below. I'll go ahead and put you guys up on the screen next time. Thanks as always for watching the good and bad and the ugly, brought to you by the 5 Reasons Sports Network. I'm your host, Jonathan, and I hope you guys have a great day.